Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
A cold, chilly start to your Tuesday. Welcome into Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond with you. It is October 31st. That does make it Halloween. That also makes it head coach Nick Saban's birthday today as well.
Happy number 72, Coach. That's of course usually his birthday. They celebrate it during the bye week. I think they have a dinner and everything, but certainly it's not a bye week right now. They're getting ready for their biggest game of the year with the LSU Tigers.
Yeah.
We started breaking it down yesterday. We'll continue to break it down the rest of this week. But again, happy birthday to Coach. Well, it will be interesting to see. They usually put out the prerequisite video of the team singing to him, but the cat that used to do it all the time's graduated now. So we'll see, because that was pretty much the only thing he could do.
Who's that?
He was a DB. I forgot his name, so because he wasn't worth 10 cents.
Oh, okay. He wasn't someone that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, you
he spent half. It was Daniel Wright. He spent half his career suspended.
You bring up the LSU game yesterday. Coach Saban stepped in front of the mic, talked about it, and was asked about Jaden Daniels and how he's improved from last year. Here's Coach's response to that.
Well, he killed us last year, so, I mean, guys was a really, really good player last year. He's a really, really good player now. I think, overall, they execute their offenses, to perfection. And it starts with him because he makes the right reads relative to runs and passes and, zone option plays and pass down plays. He's very good at reading coverages, makes really quick decisions. So all those things were evident last year, I think, by the way he played, and I think he's probably even better, now because he has even more experience and knowledge in the offense, and they've got really good players around them.
There you go. Coach talking about Jaden Daniels, the impact that he had last year against Alabama and the impact that he could have this year against Alabama.
Well, I mean, he could have the huge impact. I think he's the front runner for the Heisman Trophy. I mean, I think most people with a pulse and any common sense agree with that, especially considering our reigning Heisman Trophy winner can't beat Wofford and Cal and the rest of these tree huggers. So, I mean, he's not going to, because they've basically been losing to Wofford-type teams, in my opinion. But he's not going to repeat. And then you've got Bo Nix, you've got Michael Penix. Those are two of the other guys that are heavily involved in this deal. And certainly Penix being undefeated certainly helps him. But he laid a turd against Arizona State, if anybody saw that game. And Jaden Daniels has not laid a turd like that. Now, if he doesn't play well against Alabama, it'll change everything. But Bo Nix played well in a loss and has continued to play at a very high level. So right now I'd say those guys are the front runners. I don't really think there's a running back that's emerged as a viable target. Now, Marvin Harrison Jr. has. Now, I did see some stupidity from Bud Elliott yesterday asking if Marvin Harrison Jr. is the greatest college wide receiver of all time. And I thought to myself, I even commented under his Instagram, you misspelled Devontae Smith, but I appreciate that.
Oh.
Who actually won the Heisman Trophy and a national championship, and I don't want to hear that it was a COVID year because they played an all-SEC schedule, so shut up.
256-576-4977. Feel free to jump in on the show. We'll continue. Who was that? We'll continue to break down.
Jameer Gibbs' biggest fan is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline.
We'll continue to break down this LSU matchup. We got to get to the fact that the college playoff rankings come out tonight. So we will go over the preview of those. We didn't get to Heather Dinich's top 4 yesterday, or top 8. We'll go over some of those. But 256-576-4977. Let's go out to the phone lines. Wolverine Dan with us this morning. Good morning, sir.
The show is a wonderful show. That's why I listen to it. but I think the beginning of the show should have started with headlines, Detroit Lions. That's what it should have started. What did you think of that performance?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch it, but I did follow it, and I know Jameer outgained him by himself. I will say that he outgained the Las Vegas Raiders, who are going to fire Josh McDaniels either by the middle of this season or by the end of it, regardless, because he's
They had
horrendous.
153 yards of offense, did the Raiders.
At one time in the fourth quarter, Jimmy Garoppolo had like 42 yards passing. So
The Lions had 29 first downs. Unbelievable.
yeah, I mean they played great. Jameer's getting his feet under him, man. He's going to be a great player, and it was a great pick by Detroit. So was Brian Branch. I mean, they're picking winners, man.
Yeah, well, the Oakland only. I call them Oakland.
Yeah.
Oakland was 1 for 9 on third downs. It was pitiful. Our total yards was almost 500. They only had 153, like you said.
Yep.
And we averaged 6 yards per play. I mean, we made mistakes. Okay, there was fumbles, there was interceptions for a touchdown. Those are stuff we have to work on. But I think the Lions are going to get in there, and today's the last day for the trading for players, correct?
Do what now?
Trade.
The trade? Are you talking about the trade deadline? The trade deadline I thought passed yesterday, or is it today
I
at
think
4?
it is today.
Okay, I guess it is because
Yeah.
the Falcons made a trade. Now it looks like Derrick Henry, as of now, will not. There was the rumors that he almost got traded to Baltimore, but the owner nixed it.
Well, I think Henry would probably do quite well in Dallas, don't you think?
Yeah, but I'm not sure that Dallas is going
He's
to pull the
going
trigger.
anywhere. Yeah, I think he's going to be safe. Now there is reports that Jameis Winston could be traded. I mean,
Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, Jameis could end up with Minnesota because they need a quarterback.
I'll say this though: is there the trade deadline is today. Major League Baseball trade deadline is a hot one. But is there any less of a excitement though than an NFL trade deadline?
Usually not. Now, if Devontae Adams they're talking about here, if this was his last game with the Raiders, and if I were him, I'd be begging, get me out of town. We suck. Then going to Buffalo would be major. Hell, I wish Josh Jacobs would get the hell out of there. It's a crap hole.
Well, I'll say this, though. I think by now we've probably realized there's a very good possibility we'll win our division.
Oh, there's no question about it. Detroit's the best team easily. I mean, I know they've had a couple hiccups, man, but Green Bay is awful. I mean, the Jordan Love experiment's probably going to last a year, and then they're going to be either trying to trade or draft a quarterback.
Chicago is
Chicago. Who cares? And then Minnesota had horrendous luck with Kirk Cousins going down, so they might go to try to trade for Jameis interception.
But they're still banged up on every offensive front.
Yeah.
Besides that,
Right.
I think our team's bonding with Dan Campbell playbook, and it's refreshing. Last night I didn't see it, you said, but they had some old throwback gear. The helmets were 1950s.
Yeah.
Helmet. It looked really good. I go, man, I wish they'd keep that helmet. So, gentlemen, it's wonderful. I'm not used to this as usual. Every year nothing like this, but man, this is fun. I'm really, hey, it's way overdue, and I've been a loyal fan.
Oh, there's no question about that.
That's good. See, Drew, just like you're loyal to your team. Even if it's bad or good, it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I will admit, Dan, I don't really have an NFL team. I just follow players now. I've been fans of like the era of the early 2000 Bucks and stuff like that, but I don't really have a pro team per se. But I'm hoping a lot of these Bama guys do well, and I do like the Dolphins. And by the way, they had their awesome looking throwbacks on this weekend as well.
So, I'm excited. The season's still not over yet. Injuries could sideline us, but and that's the other thing too is we have a bye coming up. These right now, West and Drew, they're really hurt. I mean, there's a lot of injuries, and
right.
You need that bye.
Yeah, no doubt. They come at a good time usually. Congrats, Dan.
Yeah, congrats and thanks for the phone call, Wolverine.
Thank you.
256-576-4977. It is a Thursday morning. That's
Hey, we buried the lead here, though. This is National Brian Ferentz Day in Iowa today, man.
Bury it.
I mean, he's fired. Can you believe this? The AD, I was told she could run for the governor of the state of Iowa right now. She has fired the guy.
So you should have seen my reaction.
I mean, no matter what happens, the rest of the season, the guy is fired.
I was like,
now I did see a funny tweet. I did see a funny tweet that every Ferentz is now the top 4 candidates, like the wife, the other son, maybe an uncle or whatever. But still, he's fired.
Thank you. Yes. But at the end of the year, we've got to go through the worst offensive production. For
even
the
a
rest
bowl
of the year.
game, but still, he is fired.
He is fired. Yes. The interim AD walked in and said, "Yeah."
Now I'll just start something with Jeff. I just wonder if Ferentz will retire and they'll hire Mark Stoops.
But here's my question, though, and I was going to propose this as a question because Arkansas fired Dan Enos right after their dismal performance against Mississippi State.
But they had several dismal performances.
Right. Iowa is waiting to the end of the season.
It's because of
is
politics.
There a better time though in college football though? Is there a time that you say, okay, look, I know our offense is horrible, but what kind of gamble do you take trying to bring in a new OC in the middle of a year to try to jumpstart an offense? Or, I mean, do you just ride the dismal train out till the end of the year and try to find someone at the end of the season?
Every school is different, man. And Iowa they've never been known for making changes quickly. And Ferentz has been there for so long. I'm sure they're going to throw him a bone, and they're just going to ride this out. They know they're not winning a championship now. They know they stink. And, they're going to go to some worthless-ass bowl game.
Oh, yeah. Thank you
and
for
so,
that.
Well, they're all worthless if you don't make the playoff. I mean, let's be blunt. I mean, now they are. I mean, and that's why coaches were getting pissed off at having a playoff. They're excited, but at the same time, it de-emphasizes bowl games.
Right.
So, and now, I mean, you have to say that because look at all the opt-outs. You go to these bowl games.
They become
teams just opt out.
Bowl games become irrelevant.
Personally, I think that's ridiculous. I think kids should have to play the bowl game through before they decide to turn pro and opt out and all this crap. But again, that's just the it's just kind of like we're going to have to talk about a certain someone in Clemson, South Carolina, and his meltdown last night.
Oh my gosh, I've got that ready to go.
And so that's what I mean. When things start going south, that's what happens, and then you have to change. If you don't adapt, you die.
Right.
And so
do you give Sam Pittman credit then for saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, you had to do
Dan Enos.
You had to do something, man, because it wasn't working. Right. Iowa should have made a change before this damn season.
Oh no, they should have made.
But they've just let it go stale. And to be honest, Ferentz has had a good run, but he probably should retire, and they should go hire Mark Stoops and bring him home. Is what they ought to, or talk Bob out of retirement, offer him as much money as it takes to get him out of retirement.
Because they blundered it the first time.
Yeah, I mean, he's sitting over there coaching in the XFL, for God's sake. Just go over there and offer him as much money as you can and get him out of retirement to finish his career. I mean, good Lord, it ain't hard.
Well, this is Iowa. We do things the hard way sometimes.
I mean, that's what I do. I would say, Bob, how much? Because how much are they paying him? They're paying Ferentz $8 or $9 million. You can't tell me that money can't get Bob Stoops out of retirement to come back home and coach at the school that he played.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines.
Either get him or Mark.
Let's go out to the phone line.
Mark's making $9 million, no.
He is. Who's out there again?
I don't know.
Who do we? That's why I'm asking. It's Mark from Spring Hill. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, morning, guys. Yeah, I'm making about $9K, not $9 mil. Thank you now. How y'all doing this morning?
We're good.
Hey, I just wanted to I don't know how to follow that. Did Jeff from the Borough call? I missed it.
Yesterday.
He called yesterday.
And he changed the subject. He
wanted
to talk about Will Levis.
Kentucky too much.
He didn't want to talk about the gag job. Wanted to talk about Will Levis having 4 touchdowns, and now he's a superstar according to Jeff. But I guess he's forgotten about guys like Robert Griffin III, Vince Young, and others that got off to great starts in their career. But I mean, Will Levis has a chance. I will say this. He has a golden opportunity. It's going to be his job the rest of the season. It should be. If he plays well, he is the quarterback of the
Thursday
future.
night.
There's no question about
His
it.
next game is Thursday night for the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, and they got a chance to turn their season around. If he does the job, then and he has the physical talent. I've just always questioned A, his durability, and B, from the neck up. Because, hell, I wasn't impressed with it at Kentucky at times. It looked like he was colorblind.
Well, the reason I called was really care less about those teams is
And that means throwing it to the other team, folks. But that's all right.
Alabama, I was going to mention, Alabama's given up 121 points this year. LSU's given up 221. That's the difference Saturday. I don't care who the quarterback is at LSU. Alabama's played some pretty good quarterbacks this year as well. Maybe not the same as the one they're going to face Saturday. I wonder why that's not talked about more.
No, it's the best. Oh, we talked about it. The best quarterback they're playing is Saturday.
Yeah.
He's a lot better
far.
than even Quinn Ewers, and Quinn Ewers gave Alabama some misery because Alabama didn't pressure him. Now, since that second game of the year, Alabama has pressured quarterbacks. They've got 29 sacks, but they're going to have to find a way to get some pressure and move Jaden Daniels, because if they do not, and he's just able to sit back there and then choose when to run and everything else, Alabama's dead. They've got to find a way to affect him, no question.
Do you
about
want
it.
to put him in a box? Do you want to contain Jaden
Well,
Daniels?
to
Or
a
do
degree-
you not want him to get out of the pocket?
To a degree, you do, but you've got to also hit Jaden Daniels. You've got to make him see things, in other words, that aren't there.
Right.
And feel pressure that's not there, and hurry throws, and maybe take off when he shouldn't. That pressure bursts pipes, man. No matter who the quarterback is, pressure affects everything. You can't just let the quarterback stand back there. If you do, you will not win. Not against a guy like this who is getting so much better that he might be the first pick in the draft. I mean, I'm telling you, he's better than Caleb Chilane.
Well, he's so good now. He's so good. Now, let me just play devil's advocate here. He's so good, he's lost 2 games already. And one to Ole Miss, which,
let me ask you a question, Mark. How many games has those two teams lost combined?
1.
Exactly. And LSU did not have their 2 tailbacks that they have now, Logan Diggs and John Emery, which is really giving them balance offensively.
And they lost those games not because of Jaden Daniels, but because of some really horrific defensive play.
Which means Alabama can take advantage of that if Jalen Milroe plays well and if they have a good offensive plan. Now, if Jalen Milroe struggles and if they struggle with their play calling and the offensive game plan, if it's not cohesive, if they don't have balance and can't run the ball well enough and control the clock, then they won't beat LSU. But there'll be plays there to be made. Alabama has to make them.
All right, Mark, thanks for the phone call. It is 7:19. We've got to get a break in. When we come back, more of your phone calls, 256-576-4977. Plus, the College Football Playoff Committee is going to release their playoff teams tonight. The first edition of the poll comes out.
Can't wait to hear Heather Dennis's top 4. That should be interesting.
Oh, it'll be interesting. We'll give you that and more.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
A wreck reported in the 9,000 block of Greenbrier Parkway that's right in front of the Mazda Toyota plant. Had Himsey on the way, but they've canceled them. Just got a no injury in Decatur at Beltline and Spring, and traffic at a heavy level already all across the valley. Snelling needs a purchaser for attempt to hire opportunity at a Decatur manufacturing company. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Cheeseburger Bobby's has a great new way to feed the family with two $30 family packs. The first is the Tenders Family Meal, 20 delicious chicken tenders, fries, and a gallon of tea. The second is 4 cheeseburgers, fries, and a gallon of tea. Your choice, just $30 each. These specials are good for carryout and online orders only. Log on to cheeseburgerbobbies.com to order. And don't forget frozen custard for dessert. Cheeseburger Bobby's, 2785 Carl T. Jones Drive, Huntsville, and at cheeseburgerbobbies.com.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is driven by you, driven by those with grit, determination, and a goal to succeed. This is why we do what we do. The Huntsville Sports Commission promotes an enhanced quality of life in the Huntsville area through sports. We work hard to make sure those who come to Huntsville to compete have all they need to be the best they can be. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports. Find out more at huntsvillesports.org.
Work injuries happen in Alabama all the time, whether it's an accident at work, getting injured, lifting heavy objects, hurting your hands on a machine, or just performing the same movement over and over until your body breaks down. But when it happens, there's only one law firm to call in Alabama. That's Pond, Lehocky, Giordano. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, 7:23 Tuesday morning. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Everybody stay warm out there. I'm sorry for these kids, man. It's gotten so cold.
You know what? Back in Iowa when we were kids, trick-or-treating,
how did y'all do that in the snow, man?
Well, it wasn't snow, but this type of weather right here is normal.
But you're just hoping it doesn't snow.
You would have this a lot for Halloween. You would just have to make sure that you bundled up.
Yeah, and put on
your
thermals.
Costume over
the thermals.
whatever you were wearing. Yeah, I mean, anything. I mean, you'd wear big.
Now, what will I say? There had to be times where you got dumped on and it snowed. Did they cancel it?
No, heck no.
Okay.
Don't cancel anything because of snow.
Okay. I just didn't know.
I mean, it takes a lot. It takes a lot for school to be delayed, for school to be canceled.
In Iowa.
Yeah.
Because they know how to handle it.
Yeah. Now, though, I mean, they kind of gone wimpy a little bit. All right, let's go on to the phone lines on the Halloween day. LC with us first. Let's go.
What's up, LC?
Hey, guys. Love the show. I live in Nashville, and, of course, I follow the Titans. I pull for them.
Yeah.
And that was an impressive debut for
It was.
Levis
I mean, he's golden opportunity for Mr. Levis.
Yes.
It's happened 3 times in the history of the NFL. Once was many decades ago. I don't recall the guy's name. The other player was Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
And we know how things ended in Tennessee. He seemed to have lost his confidence and just fell apart. And unfortunately, they shipped him out, as did Atlanta. So I hope Levis is the answer, but, you know, one game does not make a career. So,
no.
You know, it's kind of like hang on and just let's give this some time.
But it's very promising, at least, though, with what they had been having. I mean, Tannehill has been struggling, getting injured. He's had a good run as a starting QB, but I think that's over. And then Malik Willis can't play dead in a B Western.
You're right about that, Drew. He's oh gosh. Oh, I'm pulling for him. I really hope this works out. It'll help the it'll help the team move forward.
Your quarterback's the toughest position. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, think about this. Matt Flynn came in for one game.
Yeah,
had a great one game.
Now, you were talking about earlier. Were you talking about the Tennessee Titans franchise that had a quarterback come in, LC?
Well, I'm talking about Marcus Mariota when he hit
Yeah,
first game.
I thought you were talking about somebody before him too. I was,
There was a player, Drew, and it was years and decades ago.
Oh, before the Tennessee. Okay, I got you.
I have no idea. It was way back.
Gotcha.
But Marcus Mariota flashed just like this, and unfortunately, just couldn't sustain. So we're hoping that this works out. I've got one last question, and I'll hang up, guys.
Sure.
If we have a three-way tie in the West, is it who's ranked the highest that gets to go to the SEC championship? Is that right?
Yes. Whoever is the highest-ranked team in the college football playoff rankings would go.
Yeah, and I think that would be LSU because LSU would have because I'm just telling you it's about when you lose.
Right.
Because if Ole Miss gets whacked by Georgia and LSU beats Alabama, then LSU is going to be the highest ranked. Unless the only way it would not happen is if LSU ended up choking, and then there wouldn't be a three-way tie. But against Dirt Neck for some reason beat them last year.
Right. It would go to the highest-ranked playoff team.
Right. And I just want to, and I just want to let LC and all the listeners know the minute Clown Patrol is fired, and they buy him out and send him off to the ranch to remake, Dallas? Dallas or whatever, the Cisco Kid or whatnot, then they're not Dirt Neck anymore. They just have to get rid of Pinhead.
By the way, what LC is referring to, Marcus Mariota had a perfect passer rating of 158.3 in his quarterback debut, the first quarterback in NFL history to attain a perfect passer rating.
I thought he was going to be a really good player, man. I mean, he was a great player in college, but a lot of times it's what you surround him with, and they had trouble, building an offensive line. They didn't have Derrick Henry at the time, and he got hurt a lot. I mean, it just really hurt his progress.
Guys, good point. Hey, one last thing. What's Jimbo Fisher going to do with that pair of boots that they gave him for being number one in the future?
He's going to use it to raise cattle, man. Because I think he's got a cattle ranch.
He's probably got some other ones he can use.
Thank you, LC.
Guys. Thanks. All right, so who do we got, Bailey? Steve?
Jeff from the Borough.
Okay, let's go to Steeler Mike.
What's up, Steeler Mike?
How y'all doing today?
Good, sir. How are you?
Oh, put another 10 points on the board Sunday. I'm exhilarated about Matt Canada, just like everybody else, other Steeler fan in the world. We got a rules question. So,
sure.
Tennessee Kentucky game the other day. I think it's second down. Kentucky goes out of bounds with exactly 2 minutes to play, so the clock runs. It's not under 2 minutes.
Right.
Stoops doesn't know the rule, in my opinion, because it runs down to 146, and he's over there not understanding why the clock doesn't stop. They grant him a timeout and take the clock back to 2 minutes, and it runs down to like 146. Why would they do that? He didn't know the rule. He doesn't call timeout in time, but then they say, okay, we're going to give you the timeout and take it back to 2 minutes. Why would they do that?
I don't know that one.
It made no sense because it's like, oh, you didn't know the rule. Let's give you the timeout and take it back to 2 minutes. Didn't make any sense. But that is the rule. If they go out at like 2 minutes, it runs, correct?
Right. If the clock does not stop until they've
after
basically
the 2
adopted
minute
the
warning.
NFL rules now.
Yeah.
To where it's under 2 minutes and the clock will stop.
Yeah. Other than that, it will not. Yeah.
Right.
All right, gotcha, guys. Well, let's see if the Steelers can get them back on track Thursday against the Titans, and good luck against LSU, Drew. I can't wait for Monday morning. Y'all
Thank
take
you.
care.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you what, those Steeler fans, they do not like Matt Canada right now.
I mean, he's not a very good OC. I mean, they fired him at LSU for crying out loud. It wasn't very good.
Yeah. Well, they've been chanting for a while now. I mean, I feel his pain. Something about black and gold and bad offense.
Oh, Lord.
All right, let's get a break in. Well, I mean, exactly. I mean, when we come back, we'll go out to the phone lines again. Plus, we'll get to the college football.
Speaking of bad offense, he's used to that too.
Let's get a
Even
break
in basketball.
Oh, you know what? I turned the TV on the other day, and they were struggling at half against some Georgetown College. Let's get a break in. More Talking Ball when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 50s this afternoon. Clouds are gradually going to clear out of the Tennessee Valley through the later part of the morning and then early into the afternoon, leaving us with a fair amount of sunshine. It is going to be an incredibly cold night across the Tennessee Valley under a nice clear sky. Temperatures have no problems, dropping into the mid and upper 20s. A freeze warning is going to be in effect for the entire Tennessee Valley through the middle part of Wednesday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck in the 9,000 block of Greenbrier Parkway. That's right in front of Mazda Toyota Gate 1. That one reported with injury, but they canceled Himsey. And we got one in Decatur Beltline near Spring that's still trying to clear. Are you ready to be your best? QFit, sports performance training and fitness can help. It's not a group program. It's intense one-on-one training. QFit Relentless, 256-497-9075. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Are you thinking about home improvements? Well, use your equity now and refi later. Or use your equity to eliminate consumer debt forever, then refi to a lower rate and shorter term when rates drop. North Alabama Mortgage can also help you if you're thinking about buying an investment property or a second home at the lake or the beach or in the mountains. We have great programs to make that happen. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Touchdown, Alabama! Hi, this is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Join us every week for Alabama football right here.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, 256-576-4977. Let's go out there, shall we? Let's visit the phone lines. We pay the bills, so let's use it. Jeff from the Borough with us. Good morning, Jeff.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
What's up, Jeff?
I guess you saw where Mr. Payne lost on the exhibition game, huh? You see that?
So Louisville, yeah.
Yeah, Scott was mentioning that off the air, that they lost to a
about
Division II school like St. John's did.
I know. I saw Kentucky struggle in the first half against Georgetown College.
I didn't follow either one of those, but I've seen it happen.
They lost Kentucky West on Louisville did, and St. John's lost to some school 15 miles to Division II or something.
Yeah.
Paid them,
I don't get too womped up about it, though.
They paid them $5,000 to come over and play.
5,000. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I just think when you look at it, like Scott was saying, they don't play all their guys. I do think it's good, though. I think it's good to play other people and get a look at your guys. And Kenny Payne, I'll be the first to admit it. He did a great job recruiting at Kentucky, but it was horrible last year. If it's horrible again this year, like just as bad, I think he'll probably get fired. I don't think they'll let it go long term.
In these exhibition games, I mean, St. John's was without two of their best players.
Yeah.
They don't treat it like a regular game. They don't do all the film study. They don't do all the breakdowns.
The opponents do.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess
because
a Division II school. Yeah, it's their Super Bowl, yeah.
You're going up against someone you don't ever get to play. I mean, you're trying to show out. But
and it was bad. I mean, Louisville was so bad last year.
No, they were.
I mean,
and I'm not
Kenny
saying
Payne.
Louisville's going to be great this year either.
He's supposed to be an Uber recruiter.
The thing about it is he should have stayed in Kentucky. The thing about it is when Calipari retired, Payne would take over, but he didn't do it.
Right.
That's his deal.
But Kenny Payne's an alum of Louisville too, and I think
they need to have a good football program because their basketball sucks.
It stinks right now.
Football team, they better. And they better beat us this year. In 4 years since they beat us, we beat them like a drum every time we played them. So they better beat us this year. They won't ever beat us straight on. I'll just tell you that right now. I mean, they think the great beat Duke the other day, shutting them out and jumping up and down, having a fit. So like I said, I guess they're gonna win the ACC. I guess that big football conference, ACC. God, they're so strong. God, I might Clemson 4-4. Woo, there's a good God. I might. Is almost winning on the hot seat? Huh? Is he on the hot seat? Probably ought to be, shouldn't he?
Why should Dabo Swinney be on the hot seat?
No, I mean that's dumb.
Why?
I know Bill Nate was after Florida got beat to Kentucky. Everybody wants to get rid of him. So what y'all think about that? They when Napier gone, think he's gonna be gone?
No, not after this
still trying
year.
to figure out why Dabo Swinney would be on the hot seat.
4 years ago, he might be gone. So, but y'all hang in there, guys. See y'all.
Okay, look, I'll say this. Jeff did give us a perfect segue. I mean,
yeah.
I will give him that. He doesn't usually bring a lot to the table, but today he gives us a perfect segue, and that is Dabo Swinney.
Yeah.
Dabo Swinney had an interesting call yesterday.
And I'll do that one more time.
He had an interesting call from let's see, I want to go.
Tyler is who called him. Tyler on the phone.
Tyler called him.
On the coach's show.
Yes. And it's, I mean, I guess when you are a coach. And
I'm just using the Dabo vernacular. Tyler.
I got to pull it up here. I'm trying to get it all pulled up. So here is it's like a 5-minute phone call. We can't play the whole thing.
It's not the whole. That's not the whole call. It lasted more than 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes is the gist of the call.
Yeah.
His response.
So much that even when it used to be the fun's in the winning, now even when you win, people.
Okay, why is it sounding like he is 500 miles away?
Is something not plugged up? I don't. I'm just asking.
No, it's all plugged in. I had played this during the thing here. Sometimes the internet is.
Never had a bad year in basketball. I'll tell you, at some places there's an expectation, but at Clemson there's an appreciation. And what's happened at Clemson is we've won so much that even when it used to be the fun's in the winning, now even when you win, people like you complain and criticize the coaches and question everything. People like you, all right, when I hired Tony Elliott to be the offensive coordinator who never called a play in his life, I'm sure you were critical then. All right, and he took us to 2 national championships. People like you who just love to destroy people with your comments, all right? I'm sure you've never made any bad decisions. I'm sure you've lived a perfect life. I'm sure you've led a bunch of people. I'm sure you do your job in front. So to answer your question, I started as the lowest paid coach in this freaking business, all right? And I'm where I am because I've worked my ass off every single day. And I ain't going to let some smart-ass kid get on this phone and create this stuff. So if you got a problem with that, I don't care. All right? I work for the Board of Trustees, the President, and the AD. And if they're tired of me leading this program, all they got to do is let me know. I'll go somewhere else where there is an appreciation. All right? It's not just winning. It's how you win. And we are in this is a tough year. But we've had 12 10-plus win seasons in a row. 12. We lost to Tennessee last year. They won 11 games for the first time in like 20 years. We've had 8 11-win seasons in whatever, 11 years or whatever. We've won 2 national championships. Clemson went 35 years. All right, probably since before you were born, your whole freaking life. And we've won 2 in 7 years. And we earned it. And we beat the best of the best to do it. The best of the best. 12 10-plus win seasons. So if you want to know why, that's why. Am I perfect? Nope. I'm far from it. I am a man of faith. Absolutely. All right? I'm 53 years old, and there ain't one thing in my life. I have been a part of failure many times, but there ain't one thing in my life that I've ever failed at, Tyler. Never. All right? Ever. I wanted to get an education. I got 2 degrees. I wanted to be the first college in my graduate, my family. I did it. I wanted to go play football in Alabama. I earned a scholarship, lettered 3 years, worked my ass off, won a national championship. I wanted to get into coaching. I worked my way to being a head coach. And when I got this job, and I'm sure you didn't want me to get this job, all right, and 15 years later, I'm still here, and I'd say the results are what they are, and I stand on them. So you don't ever have to call back. I wanted to get married. I've been married for going on 30 years. I wanted to be a father. I've raised 3 great sons. If you don't like how I run the program, don't be a fan. I don't care. But I'm the head coach, and I'm going to do what I believe is right for the long term of this program, what's best for the players, and what I think is best for the moment. If you got a problem with that, that's fine. But I'm not going to sit here and let you call. I don't give a crap how much money I make. You ain't going to talk to me like I'm 12 years old.
Well, he did ask, why are we paying you $11.5 million to go 4-4? But what you have to understand is he did what he just said. They had, 12 10-win seasons in a row. Just because you have one rough patch, Coach K had rough patches, and he brought that up. There's been all kind of coaches that have had off years, and they shouldn't be fired. Okay,
right.
You shouldn't be fired for a 2-game losing streak. There's people that panic and they want coordinators fired after one bad series. Trust me, I've had the text messages: just fire the guy and give somebody else the headset. You know what I'm saying? People get up, emotional and get upset. But again, I will say this though: one thing Dabo does need to do is he's got to adapt.
Right, got to change.
He's what's hurt him. He brought up 15 years. Well, Coach Bowden had a great 14-15-year run where they were top 5 every year.
Right.
And he started losing coaches. We talked about that. Chuck Amato, Mark Richt, all these guys, Mickey Andrews retired. You lose coaches, man, and it's very difficult because he had a staff that was together for a long, long time that was great. Then Dabo did too. You start losing Todd Bates, Brent Venables, Tony Elliott's now the head coach at Virginia. Jeff Scott left to go to South Florida. You lose all these guys, and it's difficult, and he's promoted from within. It hasn't worked at times, even though he went and got Garrett Riley from TCU, and that hadn't worked either so far. Now, where I think the biggest 2 areas he's got to adapt, though, is recruiting. As far as the high school kids, I think you can't have if you commit to us, you can't visit anywhere else, or, where you're not committed to us. I think you got to understand that kids are going to take visits. And then another thing he's got to do, And you have to up your NIL game in order to keep kids committed. But the second thing, and that is, and this is one of the biggest he hasn't done, is the transfer portal.
Right.
You have got to start attacking the portal and bringing in some guys because you have a high-level program. You're making $11.5 million a year. You did win 10 games for 12 years in a row and put out as many pros as anybody. Take advantage of that and poach some kids because they're trying to poach them from your roster. So to me, he's got to start using the transfer portal and then hand in hand high school recruiting, NIL, and then kind of tweak his policies about visits and things of that nature. I just think if he does that, they can continue to win because, you know, the reason Coach Bryant and Coach Saban are the two greatest of all time is because they adapted to the times when they were coaching.
Right.
And so far, Dabo's kind of trying to keep things the status quo, which is what they were largely successful for a long time. But the landscape is changing so rapidly because of the transfer portal.
Well, yeah, and he didn't bring guys in. Doesn't like to use the
That's
transfer
what I mean.
portal, but they lost 12 guys.
They lost 12
out
guys,
of
but you're not
portal.
bringing any in.
Yeah, that's the problem. You're
and that's
not,
why you're 4-4, and
Yes.
and you know, and Dave Doran, who
does it
is
look,
beating you.
Does it look bad for him when DJU goes out to Oregon State and is
not
playing
exactly.
better?
Look. I watched some of that game the other night. They lost to Arizona, okay? And at one point he got benched because he was 1 for 17. Couldn't hit water if he fell out of a friggin' boat.
Okay.
So it's not DJ Uiagalelei that's the problem, okay? He's a good player, but he's not a great player. He looks like Tarzan. He plays like Jane half the time. It just look.
Yeah.
They benched him for another guy because he could not hit a pass to save his life, and they lost the game to Arizona.
We got to get a break in. When we come back, Jason, we will get to your phone call. 256-576-4977. We will still get to the playoff rankings. I keep teasing that. We're going to get to it eventually. We got an hour and 10 minutes left of the show. We'll get to it at some point. Jason, you're up next, though, when we get back from break.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of wrecks we're trying to get out of the way. One on Greenbrier Parkway, the 9000 block. That's near Gate 1 at Mazda Toyota. It turned out to be a no injury. Had one in Decatur, Beltline, and Spring that they're also trying to clear. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. If you need cardiac care, you need the Heart Doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in the field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor at Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Welcome back, Talking Ball. Scott
All this
Tyson,
rules
Drew
crap. I
DeArmond.
need some gin and juice.
I know. I just wish college football would go back to the old ones. I don't like the way they are this year. I do not like clock doesn't stop. I miss the old clock rules in college football. I'll say that. I do miss those. Jason's with us on the phone lines this morning. Good morning, Jason.
Morning. Oh, man.
Oh.
We lost him. Call back.
He's getting his gin and juice.
Uh-oh.
Hey, okay, so now I can get it in. Tonight, the college football playoff rankings will be released. Okay, where will Alabama fall into the list? Who will be number one? Heather Dinich has put out her rankings, okay? Do you think Georgia will be number one when they come out tonight? Do you feel Georgia will be number one?
I would vote them number one,
okay.
especially after their performance last week, and they haven't stolen signals from anybody.
Okay, so she puts Ohio State as number one at 8-0.
I guess because they beat Notre Dame and Penn State.
She puts Florida State number 2.
Well, they did beat LSU.
Georgia number 3. And Washington number 4.
I don't disagree with Washington, even though, again, I think Oregon's better, but they beat Oregon. So you can't, and then Florida State has a good win over LSU, but I still probably would have them 5th. I mean, I'm sorry. Georgia, I know Georgia's schedule has not been the most difficult. I understand that. We've even talked about it.
Right.
But I'm just telling you, who is I guess you could say Ohio State has the – but I don't think Penn State's any good. I think they're going to lose 4 at least. I think they're overrated. I'm sorry. And Notre Dame's lost how many? Louisville beat the hell out of them. Not in basketball, in football.
Yes, they did.
Notre Dame should have lost to Duke, not in basketball, in football. I'm sorry. I can't vote them ahead of Georgia, who's the 2-time defending champion. I'm going to vote the 2-time defending champion number 1 if they haven't lost.
So she says they could be lower than 3.
Then I think you could vote. I would probably
they played against UT Martin. I mean, they've beaten Kentucky. They've beaten Florida. But are those good enough wins? And you look at Florida State. Florida State's beaten an LSU team. But
Who else?
Outside of that.
Who else?
Duke. But Duke lost to Louisville Saturday, so that win doesn't look as
like I said,
glamorous.
I would go Georgia. Then I would probably
Clemson's overtime win. Clemson has now got 4 losses on the year.
You just said it, overtime, and they've lost 4 friggin' games. So I'm just telling you, I would go Georgia. Then I would have to go. I'd probably go Ohio State because I think they've beaten better teams than Michigan has. Michigan's schedule hasn't been great. Then go Michigan, and then go Washington.
She has Michigan number 5.
Where it really doesn't mean a rat's ass anyway. It's
Right.
because Michigan and Ohio State are going to play, and one's going to
They're
knock
good.
the other off.
Yep.
So whoever's 2 or 3, it doesn't really matter the order.
Nope.
But they should be 2 or 3, and then Washington should be 4, and then to me it should be Florida State 5, and then Oregon 6, and then who gives a crap about the rest of them?
She has Oregon 6, Texas 7, and Alabama 8.
And Sark's saying they've got the best win because they beat Alabama, blah, 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 blah. And I guess you could put Texas 7th, but then Texas better not get their ass whipped by Kansas State, which wouldn't surprise me on Saturday if Kansas State ran through them and ran over them. I'm just telling you, especially when you got a quarterback that's never really only started one friggin' game in Malik Murphy.
Penn State, she has Penn State 10, Ole Miss 11. So, I mean,
you know, and guess what? Georgia's schedule is they're going to play Missouri, they're going to play Ole Miss, they're going to play teams
Tennessee.
down the stretch. Tennessee, so their power ranking is going to go up. And if they're still undefeated by Atlanta, they're going to be number one, or you ought to just have your credentials revoked and not be able to cover another damn game in your life.
Dennis Doofus.
Yeah, and Heather Dimwit and all of them.
Oh, she's not coming to dinner.
I don't care. She doesn't know anything. She didn't read a cue card. She wouldn't even know what a damn football looked like.
Oh.
Not afraid to say things on this show.
And Ma was going to make meatloaf.
Yeah, whatever. My mom's meatloaf was good, though. Don't like mashed potatoes.
What?
But I love the
You're out
meatloaf,
on the
man.
mashed potatoes?
I'm out on the mashed potatoes. I'm not a potato
man.
person, man. I'm not a baked potato person or a mashed potato person. I am a skillet potatoes person. Now if you make me some skillet potatoes
good
with some
fried
she
potatoes with
used
a
to
little
do
bit of
that.
onion
She
in
used to
them?
do that with the meatloaf, and that's good stuff.
Oh.
I mean, matter of fact, hey, if you go to our great sponsor, Bubby's Diner, and you ask for the skillet potatoes, you'll be pleased.
All right. Do we have time?
Let's go, Shane.
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Morning.
Hey, Drew, it's just like I said on your XP when I tagged you, man. I was like, she doesn't know anything. I don't understand why she's still paid to talk about college football. It's just complete lunacy.
I know they've cut a lot of folks that were really good college football insiders, and
David Pollock,
and and Ivan Maisel is retired and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not going with David Pollock. He sells his autograph on eBay. But let's go.
Yeah, but last thing, there are people sitting at home on the couch watching television that know more about college football than her. I would say my 2-year-old daughter probably knows as much about college football as she does. So.
Well,
for Heather Dinich.
Well, I'll just say this: there was the old Gene Stallings quote from several years ago when they asked Coach about some of that stuff, and he goes, "There are some people that have no business talking about college football. In other words, they don't know it."
All right. Wow.
Sorry. I
didn't realize. I mean, I knew she was.
She's a nice person. I just don't think she knows football.
Brian Matthews knows football.
He does.
He knows the Auburn Tigers. He's going to join us at the top of the hour. Brian Matthews coming up next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Unlike other credit cards that decline sports betting transactions or treat them as a cash advance, the G-Bank Visa Signature Card can load directly to your favorite sportsbook apps. G.bank/VSiN.
The Lions held on to beat the Raiders 26-14. Detroit was a 6.5-point favorite, minus 265 on the money line. The Raiders were plus 285. The total was 40, the over-under 46.5. Texas Rangers took a 2-1 lead in the World Series with a 3-1 win in Game 3 last night. Corey Seager launched a 2-run homer and sparked a crucial double play in the 8th, while vet Max Scherzer combined with 4 relievers for 9 strikeouts. Scherzer left the game with back tightness in the 3rd inning. Meanwhile, Rangers slugger Adolis Garcia left Game 3 in the 8th inning after appearing to hurt his left side on a swing. Game 4 tonight in Phoenix. Arizona minus 106, Texas minus 110. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome back, Talking Ball, hour number 2 of Talking Ball. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. The Auburn Tigers, they looked good offensively against Mississippi State. Maybe not in the second half. And
First
Hugh
half
Freeze,
was their best offensive half of the year.
Hugh Freeze kind of went on the defensive side a little bit yesterday in talking about the second half, and he was specifically asked about that, and said, hey, look, guys, we only got the ball one time. We had one possession in the third quarter, and then kind of detailed where they started their drives in the fourth quarter, but still, Peyton Thorne threw the ball with determination, didn't look scared. They ran the ball very well, which goes coincidentally because they threw the ball. So is it all fixed? Was it a one-game magical Jordan-Air moment? That we'll have to wait and see till Saturday when they go to Vanderbilt.
Well, we'll see. But like I said, the schedule sets up well for Auburn. They've got a chance to go on a run here before the Iron Bowl, no question about it, where every game is extremely winnable for them now. They got 2 straight road games at Vanderbilt this Saturday, and then they're going to go to a tricky Arkansas, because we really don't know what to expect out of Arkansas, because they're going to Florida after having a bye week. They changed offensive coordinators. We don't know what they're going to look like offensively. If they're, are they going to be still playing hard for Sam Pittman? They certainly have. So road trips are always tricky, and then they've got New Mexico State, and then they have the annual Iron Bowl. We're going to talk about that and more, including some Auburn hoops, with our good friend Brian Matthews since 2001, who has covered the Auburn Tigers and is, of course, with AuburnSports.com, part of the Rivals Network. Brian, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me in.
Well, let me ask you a question, man, because I know it's been a struggle bus. How fun was the first half to cover?
They needed that bad, right? They really had it tough there offensively, especially in the passing game, and that's really the first time they looked like a real offense in an SEC game, to be honest. And I think this team needed it badly. The players, coaches, the fan base, everybody really needed that. And as you mentioned, it was big to have that happen right before Auburn has an opportunity now to put together a good winning streak, if they can win a couple road games.
Peyton Thorne looked like the quarterback I think that Auburn thought they were going to have earlier in the year. Brian, what was the difference Saturday? Was it just the receivers making the plays, or did he just throw the ball with confidence?
I think it was a lot of different things coming together at once. I think he got better protection Saturday. I think the game plan was better for him Saturday. I think Auburn was playing with tempo, which fits his style better. And I think, the receivers are, playing better. They're certainly not, a great group of receivers. I don't think I'd say that, but they certainly have maybe taken a step forward finally. And I think he did play well too. So I think it was all those things sort of thrown together. And, Auburn needed it badly.
Hey, man, I've got to give a shout-out to Peyton Thorne on this show, though, because he did his media availability yesterday with Brian and all of them, and he has some common sense, Scott. He sat in front of the media with a T-shirt on that says GOAT with Michael Jordan on it, not LaDum.
That's right.
So, Brian, did they simplify the game plan, do you think, at all?
I think they've been simplifying it, to try to find, something that'll work better. So I think that was part of it too, yes. But I think they're also running what Hugh Freeze wants to run, which is more RPOs and, more tempo, which I think just sort of fits exactly what Peyton Thorne is pretty good at. I think if you watch him, when he can make a quick decision and execute, in that manner, and not have to think things through too much, he looks to me to be more effective than a guy who, you want to sit back in the pocket for, and make 2 or 3 or whatever different reads. He doesn't seem to operate that well doing that. Things tend to break down too up front when Auburn tries to do that too.
Well, and then they've done pretty decent running the football all year, but when you're able to throw it effectively early, I think there's no coincidence that Hunter had his best game.
Yep, and I think, that offensive line's getting a little bit better with the run blocking. I think if you watch Hunter, too, he's getting a little bit more patient and a little bit better with, some different schemes he's running. So, it's all starting to come together a little bit for Auburn. I don't want to say, they've turned the corner yet, but that was definitely a good start.
And defensively, they keep the streak alive. They force a turnover. What is it, 17 straight games now with the turnover?
That sounds right. I actually don't know the exact number, but that has been really a hallmark of what Ron Roberts likes his defense to be able to do. And he does have some ball hawks back there, especially the secondary. Zion Puckett, I believe, had the interception Saturday. Jalen's had a bunch of them this year. So, that's been one thing that's been pretty consistent for Auburn throughout the season is that defense and their ability to make, to force turnovers.
Yeah, no question. And Hugh's been very complimentary of Ron Roberts. And now they're getting some guys back because Keontae Scott was back in the lineup. And he's kind of the guy that makes everything go back there, Brian, in the secondary because he's the most versatile player and, honestly, probably their best player. They've got some good players back there, no doubt about it. Jalen Simpson, certainly Nehemiah Pritchett's back. But Scott seems to be the guy that everybody looks to. That's their overall the best player in their back end.
Yeah, he's one of those kids that are kind of rare at that nickel position that can be really physical and tackle well in the running game, and also be able to cover quality, slot receivers one-on-one when needed to be. So yeah, he's a key player I think for that defense too. And I thought he was a little, had to get his feet back under him when he came back, but had that. Tightrope surgery, I guess, about 4 or 5 weeks ago. It has come back pretty good, I think, from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now they take this momentum that they picked up against Mississippi State, at least in the first half. The second half, and Coach Hugh Freeze kind of tried to explain that yesterday, but they do go to Nashville, where once again, as important as the Mississippi State game was, as winnable as that game was, now you have another chance on Saturday to go out and get a little bit better against a Vanderbilt team where, again, you should be able to do much of the same.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's not been good defensively. They've had a pretty good offense, but I think they may be down to a third-team quarterback. I don't know exactly what their injury situation is this week. So that, that's going to make it difficult for them. The stadium is still under construction, so I think it's down to 28,500. And
I saw that, man. Like, it'd be the smallest crowd since Auburn played TCU back years ago, and it was 22,000 people.
Yeah,
good Lord.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And, I just wonder if the majority of the crowd will be Auburn.
I'll be
been that
shocked.
way at times when Auburn's come up there, too. So
spend a weekend in Nashville.
It should be a good opportunity for Auburn. Then Arkansas is going to be an interesting one the following week because, they're not playing good right now. They lost 7-3 against Mississippi State at home, but I think they went on the road and lost at Alabama by 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think they lost at Georgia by 7. They're out Florida this week. So Arkansas can still be a very dangerous team when they're playing well.
Well, and then let me ask you, too. I know you tweeted about this, and Coach Freeze, Scott kind of referred to it in his press conference yesterday. But what was the circumstances with the offensive struggles in the second half where Auburn didn't drop the hammer and have the game put away by the middle or end of the third quarter? What was the issues with only the 67 yards in your mind after halftime when they gained 300 in the first half?
Well, they did get a little conservative, but I think Freeze had his reasons for it, and he outlined them. He was asked about it after the game, then asked about it again Monday, as you mentioned. He did go a little
situational football.
Yeah. The third quarter, it was simple. It came down to they had one possession. I think on that possession they drove, I believe it was 44 yards, if I'm not mistaken, and they got that 49-yard field goal by Alex McPherson. I think he's 8 for 8 or nothing on the season. He's been perfect.
Tremendous
so far.
leg. Yeah.
Yep, he is really, really good. And then in the fourth quarter, I don't know the exact starting spots, but I think the first one in the fourth quarter was at the 30, and the next one was around the 4 or the 5.
Yeah.
And maybe the first one was around the 14 or 15. And he just wanted to be a little bit conservative in those spots, not let Mississippi State come up with a pick six or a big turnover and really flip the momentum there. So it happens sometimes, right? Mississippi State got more aggressive defensively, certainly with their blitzes, and Auburn was not able to really sustain a drive there or get one going, to be honest.
And so with this stretch coming up, I think everyone understands that this is a crucial one. Auburn trying to, get bowl eligible. They want to finish strong, too, for recruiting. So the schedule sets up well for them if they can navigate these. I'm just going to call it. I think they're going to beat Vanderbilt, beat them soundly, but it's going to come down to this road trip to Arkansas because we expect them to beat New Mexico State, and then that would set up a great atmosphere for the Iron Bowl with a chance to what I said in Nashville, Brian, that I thought maxing out for this group would be 8-4.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it would be. That they would have to win the rest of their games to do that. I certainly think they're very capable of winning at Vanderbilt. We'll see about Arkansas. Certainly should beat New Mexico State at home, and then anytime Auburn's got Alabama at home in the Iron Bowl, that's an opportunity for Auburn to win. Just because the way the atmosphere can be and the way Auburn usually plays at Jordan-Hare. So it should be a very exciting finish for the season for Auburn, right? I think the odds of them winning 6 games is really, really high right now, and it looks pretty good for 7, and 8's not out of the question. So it should be a much better finish for Auburn. I think they can put that 4-game losing streak behind them now.
And I thought it was kind of interesting that Bruce Pearl kind of talked about the football team yesterday and talked to it and kind of related to his first Auburn basketball team going through kind of what Hugh Freeze's first football team is going through.
Yeah, that was a great comparison. Bruce loves to talk about how that team and KT Harrell and those guys really set the standard and really, started that turnaround for Auburn. And we had a good talk with him. And as far as basketball goes, I thought one of the more interesting things he said was just talking about the depth he has and how this is going to be a team where the minutes are spread out more so than any team he's ever had, in his opinion. He feels like he's got a really good 2 deep, and those 10 players are going to, share minutes really, really closely. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out on the floor. They play their exhibition game against AUM Wednesday night.
And they played a secret scrimmage against Furman, right?
Yes, and I believe they won that. And Bruce can't comment on the specifics, but he did say he felt like they played well. He was also asked if Auburn's a better three-point shooting team this year, and he said yes.
Well, I think I saw 110-77 maybe, something like that. And then I think our guy Denver Jones, I think he had 18. I think Joe and I had a good game.
Yeah, Denver's going to be a good player for Auburn. He's going to be Auburn's one of the top scorers this season, so he's definitely a name to get to know.
Yeah, no question about it. We're looking forward to that. And then for our listeners, Auburn's got a very interesting opener too. I believe it's in South Dakota against Baylor.
It is, yeah.
Now you got who drew the straw there? Is it Stoltz? Who's going to South Dakota?
We're not going to be staffing that game.
Oh, okay. I wondered. That's kind of a long plane flight. I just,
It is.
To go to the Pentagon.
Especially when football season's still going on.
Oh, yeah. That's rough. That is rough.
True.
No doubt about it. But that's going to be a really interesting opener for Auburn because that's a national program. That's the first time I think they've opened with somebody like that in many years. I mean, it's a big challenge.
They've got a great schedule, too. They play Notre Dame. They play Oklahoma State.
Notre Dame
in
it.
Virginia Tech, Indiana. I mean, that's a USC. That's a really, really great non-conference schedule.
And USC's coming to Auburn, I believe.
Yeah, leading up to what I think will be a really competitive SEC. I think the SEC is going to be good again this year. We'll see how Auburn can fit in there. But it should be a really fun season, I think, and a really entertaining non-conference schedule coming up.
Yeah, and don't forget they come here December 13th.
Oh, of
They're
course.
Here.
It's already sold out. Like Bruce Pearl told me in Birmingham, it's $300 a ticket if you want to try to find one on the black market. He didn't say black market. He thought I was trying to get him to violate rules. I was not. I was just trying to give a shout out to Huntsville.
That's right. December 13th, UNC Asheville.
Yeah, that's right.
Braun Center. Yep.
He's already been here. He's already been looking at Simon Walker and Caleb Holt. I can say that. He can't.
I was
not trying to get him in trouble. I was just trying to give a shout out to Huntsville.
Bring down the program.
Here we go. Okay. But, no, it's going to be a really good Auburn team, and I'm looking forward to that game with UNC Asheville because UNC Asheville made the tournament last year, Brian. They're good.
Yep. Yeah, they usually do a good job of picking out some of these teams that mid-majors that are actually, going to compete for their, conference title. I think UNC Asheville's one of those again.
Yeah, it really is,
Yeah.
no question. Well, good stuff, Brian. We appreciate it. I know recruiting's going well. You guys had, it was for Mississippi State. They had, I think, one of the top 5 basketball recruits in the country for 25 in there. And then they also had several guys from a football perspective. And I saw an interesting offer go out to Antonio Alfano in the junior college ranks for Auburn along the defensive line.
Yeah, they offered a JUCO offensive tackle and a JUCO defensive lineman, so it looks like they're looking to fill some important needs there. You know, a lot of teams will watch junior colleges early in the season before they make decisions on offers, and that's apparently what Auburn is doing. And then Friday, the JUCO safety from Greenville, Laquan Robinson, he is going to announce his decision back at his high school in Greenville, and we'll be there for that. He's announced between Auburn, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M, and I like Auburn's chances there too. Jalen and Zion are both seniors, so that's an opportunity for a guy to step in and play right away, and they really like Laquan's ability to potentially do that. So that's one to keep an eye on recruiting-wise for Auburn here this week.
No doubt. Good stuff. Let everybody know how to connect with you, man.
I appreciate it. You can check us out at auburnsports.com. Tons of coverage of football, basketball. Caught up with Butch Thompson in baseball last week. Recruiting.
Nice.
All that and more at auburnsports.com. You can follow me on Twitter, X, Threads at BMattAU.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Appreciate you guys.
Brian Matthews, good stuff there on the Auburn Tigers. Hey, if you head to our YouTube page, WZZN TV, we did put the entire Bruce Pearl press conference up there from yesterday. He talked a lot about Chaney Johnson during that press conference. So if you want to listen to what he had to say about
he's
Chaney.
pushing Jalen Williams, man, because Jalen's a dude, man. Jalen was there at SEC Media Day with Joe and I. They were both there, and I asked Jalen about Chaney, and he said Chaney was the best teammate probably he'd ever had, and he'd never had a teammate as encouraging. And he even admitted that Chaney was the best dunker on the team because he was talking about how bouncy Chaney was, and I just said, okay, who's the best dunker on the team? About a 30-second pause, and he goes, Chaney. He goes, but I had to think about myself there for a second, but I got to admit, Chaney's the best dunker on the team. So there you go.
There you go. All right, here we go. Let's get a break in. When we come back, more Talking Ball, 256-576-4977. Phone lines are open to you. Oh, we'll talk some more college football when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
That wreck on 565 eastbound your county line slowing things down a bit. That traffic's backed up back to about Greenbrier. Traffic is moving, but it's moving very slow. Just got Jeff and Nick Davis as a no injury. Got Winchester east of Moores Mill as an injury type. And county line southbound at Old Highway 20 turned out to be a no injury. You get 2 pieces of the hand-breaded juicy tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. It's hunting and tailgate season and time to get serious about an F-150. We've got nearly 140 to choose from, and without a doubt, one of the best F-150 values on the road today is our STX package. You get 290 hard-working horses mated to a 10-speed transmission that'll take you everywhere, from that tree stand to downtown Tuscaloosa. Body-colored bumpers, halogen headlamps, 20-inch machined aluminum wheels, and lots of tech, like a rear-view camera with dynamic hitch assist, which you boaters and RVers will love. A 2023 Woody Anderson Ford F-150 STX packs a punch, but it doesn't cost you a bunch. You can drive one for $474 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $51.66 due at signing, 0 security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. Offer ends October 31st. Call 539-9441 for complete details. Come test drive an F-150 STX today. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked the reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Each week, they lace it up. Each week, we'll present our Team of the Week.
Get it in here! I got one thing to say.
So it's time for the Bryant Bank Team of the Week presentation.
Indeed, indeed it is. This week marks the final week of the regular season for all of our teams across North Alabama. Last week marked the final week of regular season region play.
Yeah.
For most of our teams. There were several of our teams that stepped out of region play last week. A couple of them will finish the year with non-region games in back-to-back weeks. But last week, for the most part, everybody finished up region play last week.
Yeah, they did.
There were some fantastic down-to-the-wire games, including the one you did.
Yeah, I almost broke Bailey's arm. It was accidental, I swear. I didn't mean to almost knock him over in the press box. But it was a very emotional game. There was no doubt about it. It was an epic call. And the Randolph Raiders secured the number 2 seed in 4A Region 8. And 4A Region 8 is a very good 4A region, especially at the top. You have the unbeaten in region play. Westminster Wildcats, who've only lost one game. Congrats to certainly Louis LeBlanc for going undefeated, winning his 3rd region title. But this is a major accomplishment for Randolph. For the 3rd straight year, they're going to host a playoff game at Sports Med Field. And they replaced a lot of great players. Nick Strong, Andrew Hunter, Grayson Davenport, Connor Goodson, who I call the Four Horsemen. All those guys left, and yet they're still a great football team. And they didn't have their best player, in my opinion, William Collins, who means so much to them. But his toughness, his leadership, his tenacity, I think, is rubbed off on a lot of these guys. And Graham Beatty had 4 big touchdowns in the game and 3 rushing, 1 receiving. And the defense stood on their heads and made a stop late. And Noah Gaunt had a huge interception. And for all those reasons, to finish 6-1 in 4A Region 8 and host a playoff game and to beat a Priceville team that's a very well-coached team by Chris Foster. It was a great environment over there. They are going to be the 4 seed out of 4A Region 8. And they lost, and those Pricefield kids, they lost 2 straight heartbreakers by a touchdown to Westminster, and in the last, the latter part of the fourth quarter, give up the touchdown to Randolph, and then a key 4th down conversion. But I thought the Raiders showed a lot of toughness, and for that reason, David Lloyd and the Randolph Raiders are our 97.7 The Zone Bryant Bank Team of the Week. And we wouldn't be here, Scott, without our great sponsor.
We would not be here without Bryant Bank. Each and every week they step up to the plate. They step up big. They contribute $500 to our Team of the Week each and every week. Last week we were out at Tanner. We have been such great places all season. They have been great hosts wherever we go. We will visit Randolph later this week along with Bryant Bank for a very special check presentation. And the number keeps growing. One of these days I'm going to sit down and add it all up and get the exact amount. But I'll just say it's over $20,000 that Bryant Bank has contributed to our local high schools in the area. They are a local bank. They give back. There's 2 branches here in town. There's one in Athens. Great people. And I mean fantastic people.
And hey,
at Bryant Bank.
You got to love Bank President Kenny Watson. He tells us inflation. So they
keep bringing it up. Man. Yeah, inflation doesn't mean you cut back.
No, they do.
In their words, they give
they're doing more now. We're doing this through April, man.
We're doing it, yeah. And hey, you know what?
Send us in all your nominations.
So next week we could be sitting here, giving this out to a local volleyball team because. The Elite 8
the state tournament
is getting underway today in Birmingham. Class 7A, 4A, and 1A play.
Right.
Quarterfinal and semifinal
We've
matches
given it to Westminster a couple
Wednesday.
times. Remember
Title
that.
matches set for Thursday. Right. 6A, 5A, 3A, and 2A will play quarterfinal and semifinal matches today with the championship scheduled for Wednesday. So today, 6A, 5A, 3A, and 2A will take to the volleyball courts. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow, 7A, 4A, and 1A will take to the volleyball courts.
Bayside Academy, 21 years in a row.
I know, but that tomorrow, though, remember, one of our Bryant Bank teams, Bob Jones Volleyball.
They won 21 games in a row, or matches, pardon me.
Yes, they had a national ranking.
Yeah, they're ranked in the top 25 in the country.
Yep, so they will take to the volleyball courts tomorrow. So just keep an eye. We could have a volleyball team next week bring home our Bryant Bank Team of the Week.
Oh, my goodness. 29 degrees. Jeez.
Hey. So we have been warned. We are doing the high school game. Steve and I got to do the high school game on Thursday night. And apparently it could be a little chilly doing the Hazel Green.
Well, Bandy and I have got to go to Fairview, so we got to make sure we're in the press box, or Bandy may have a nervous breakdown, man. I don't know if he can handle it.
Look, y'all will be fine on Friday.
He's going to need like 4 layers otherwise, man. He's going to look like an Eskimo.
Yeah, the Friday low is 35. The high is 66. Thursday is 27 is the low.
I mean, Bandy, we could have had a Bounty paper towels being our sponsor for Jack the Ripper about 3 weeks ago. Bandy was wiping his, he was just trying to keep his computer
Bandy,
from
you do
freezing.
realize that first round of the playoff game could be a little chilly for you.
Yeah.
I know. I realize that now.
You realize that now?
Yeah, Bandy's used to being in a gym, man. He's not used
You're gonna have to toughen up, son.
He's already been telling me, I don't know about this cold, man. I don't know about this cold.
You have to toughen up.
Hey, at least I didn't separate his shoulder because, he almost went flying. I'm just telling.
I think the coldest game that I've ever shot anything in or did anything in was an Iowa Northwestern game back in '97. I want to say it was like 5 degrees or like 10 degrees, and it was in Northwestern. It was in Evanston.
Yeah.
And you had that lakefront cold
right off
come
the lake.
in off the lake. Oh, it was so cold. All right, let's get to Shane real fast.
What's up, Shane?
Good morning, Shane.
Welcome back. You there, Shane? We got you?
We got you, Shane. All right, let's go to Jason then real fast. Good morning, Jason.
We got you, Jason.
How about Jeremy?
Oh,
Jeremy. My bad.
So there we go. It's so cold here in the studio. We're just freezing up and forgetting names.
Bandy's already having a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, Bandy's already frustrated about the cold. He's telling us Jim Bob's on the line too.
Yeah, Jim Bob Cooter or Jim Bob Fisher. Hey,
Jim Bob Fisher.
Come on. Hey, I just call him Dirt Neck. What's
what
up,
do we
Jeremy?
got today, bud?
It's
You got me, Jim Bob Fisher.
He's laughing harder than you do.
Jim Bob Fisher. That's a good one.
God.
Somebody, he was called
That is
Jim
a
Bob
good one.
Fisher
That is a
yesterday.
good one. I don't think I'll ever be able to call him anything else for the for the rest of his life.
I'm going to call him Jim Bob Fired, but whatever. I mean,
It's despicable.
yeah.
Look, talking about the cold, the coldest I've ever been. We played in Hartsville, and my freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
And we played in the semifinal game, and it was 22 degrees. And as a freshman, things don't go the way you want them to go as a freshman because one of the seniors forgot his cleats, and it was a starter. And he had to get my shoes from me, which was because I was the only freshman that had feet that had shoes that fit him. And I had to wear my Reebok high tops out onto the football field with it misting rain the entire game.
Oh, boy.
And it being 22 degrees. That was the coldest I've ever been in my life. And so just be lucky that y'all aren't going to have to deal with that Thursday night.
Well, yeah, Scott will bundle up, you know.
I will be fine. I mean, it's going to be chilly. I'll tell you that. I mean, it's going to be cold.
Yeah, I don't think Vandy will be wearing a short sleeve shirt and a Utah Jazz jersey of somebody that they traded to Cleveland.
Look, he can toughen it up. Do it, Bailey. Do it all in a short sleeve shirt. Man up.
Get him a Jim Bob Fisher tank top to wear Thursday night.
Or a cowboy hat with some boots he's going to put on eBay.
Guys, y'all have a good one.
Thanks.
Y'all stay warm.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Jim Bob Fired.
Yeah,
that's good. That is good. You know, a lot of people don't know Jim Bob Cooter, though. They don't know that he literally played. I mean, he
played at Tennessee.
Played at Lincoln County.
Yeah,
he's from Lincoln County.
And then he
played
became
at Tennessee.
and then he became a coach. And now, speaking of that, we got the Christmas tree cake czar himself, Brandon, ready to join the show. What's up, Brandon?
Trying to keep my.
Hey, man, you've started like a movement because now we get tweeted stuff all the time now of where all these Christmas tree cakes are in Huntsville.
Man, I'm telling you, they're plentiful now, but you give it about 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, I know.
And they'll be on the short list.
Oh, I got you.
That's why you got the fudge-covered Ritz and the chocolate-covered white chocolate.
See, you intrigued Scott with all this fudge-covered crackers.
The fudge-covered Ritz.
He didn't know about those. I found them last year.
Did not know they were out there.
Yeah, I found them at the drugstore.
Well, I opened the box yesterday and ate 1 or 2 of them, and then last night I went in there and I said, "Hey, where'd that box of fudge-covered Ritz go?" And my son looked at me and he said, "Oh, I ate them." I said, "The entire box?"
See, we used to make something like that where you would put a peanut butter mixture in the middle of them. You create this peanut butter mixture, and then you dip the whole thing in fudge.
Yeah, I got you.
They're really, really good stuff. And speaking of peanut butter, is Ferentz going to get paid his money, or how are they doing it? Because he had a 25-point clause.
Well, okay, I don't know. I just know that the interim athletic director did something the other athletic director, the former one, should have done, and that is step in there. And you know what she said, though? And she even said, look, it's not the job of the athletic director to hire and fire the whatever. She basically said, I shouldn't be doing this. I should not have to be stepping in here and basically firing your ass. I'm going to do it because it needs to be done, but I shouldn't be the one having to do this. In other words, quit hiring your own sons to do the dang job. Basically, the message was sent.
Hey, well, the law has been laid down.
Yes.
And so I am booked, guaranteed, if it goes down, to be at USAA Field if Air Force pulls it off.
Yeah, if they're undefeated. Yeah.
Yeah, because the team with the highest winning percentage hosts championship game. Now, wouldn't that be interesting in the SEC? But we're going to be there. So Air Force pulls it off, we know they're not getting in the college football playoff.
No.
But do you think they get the New Year's Day game, the Fiesta Bowl?
Oh, they could. They could. They ought to, with being a service academy, and they gave it to Tulane, and then maybe they could play against USC and beat them too.
Well, I'm really looking forward to that. I can fly out there and do that and come back for less than what it costs for one ticket to the SEC championship.
Yeah.
By the way, I have 4 in section 227. They are for sale. So just put that little plug there. But I'll be really excited to do that. And then we tell Scott that we are booked on the lake for next September 14th.
Oh, this is in Wisconsin.
Okay, what are we doing?
He's already got a house, man.
Oh, in Wisconsin?
Yeah.
I have one 3 hours away.
Yeah, well, this is on the front row, Scott. We could do our show watching the lake.
We get Drew on skis.
Oh, hell no.
But look, if we go up there, I can't. I got to stop at the house.
Oh, I know.
Because our house is only 3 hours away from Wisconsin. Yeah.
I envision it like that scene in the movie Twister.
Right.
Where they show up for dinner.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, that'd be what it'd be like going to Scott's if we do that. So
she'd be making food everywhere.
Yeah, we could show up for dinner and Mama would be cooking. I could get Mama to cook some. I could get Mama to make some pies for us.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put the grocery bill and we'll send Drew with the list and we'll rock and roll.
Oh, yeah. Mama will make some pies. Daddy will be very happy. All right, Brandon, we got to get a break in.
Thank you, man.
When we come back, more Talking Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 50s this afternoon. Clouds are gradually going to clear out of the Tennessee Valley through the later part of the morning and then early into the afternoon, leaving us with a fair amount of sunshine. It is going to be an incredibly cold night across the Tennessee Valley under a nice clear sky. Temperatures have no problems, dropping into the mid and upper 20s. A freeze warning is going to be in effect for the entire Tennessee Valley through the middle part of Wednesday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
They were waiting on a trooper at Jeff and Nick Davis. That one was a no injury. Still seeing some backup on 565 eastbound around Greenbrier. It's because of a wreck up near County Line. No report of injury there. Winchester east of Moores Mill reported with an injury, and they had Himsey on the way to County Line and Old Highway 20. They canceled there, but there's still some southbound blockage. End of the year's coming. You need temp admin or accounting help for special projects. Snelling can help. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Want even more excitement on game day? It's time to get on Prize Picks, the best way to win big on fantasy sports. Here's how it works. Just pick 2 to 6 players and choose more or less on their stats. If you get them right, you could win up to 25 times your cash. It's quick and easy to make your picks, and with fast and safe deposits and withdrawals, Prize Picks is the place to play this season. Prize Picks has awesome weekly promotions, and they're the only daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, keeping you in the game even if one of your players goes down. Sweat it out, watch your entry update in real time, and continue the fun by making picks on second half and fourth quarter stats. Take your game day experience to the next level with Prize Picks. And right now, you go to prizepicks.com/primetime and use code primetime. Prize Picks is matching your first deposit up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/primetime with code primetime for a 100% deposit match. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for more details.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. On Saturday, the Auburn Tigers will travel up to the Music City to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. And we had Brian Matthews on, and he was talking about what kind of shape Vanderbilt might be in from an injury perspective. I did not realize that. What does he say? Third string quarterback on Saturday, possibly, maybe.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that and more. The SEC with the editor-in-chief of, and he and Blake Lovell do a great job with Southeastern 14, their YouTube channel, but also he is the publisher for over 20 years of VandySports.com, part of the Rivals Network. And Chris Lee's very busy this week, and he's joining us for a few minutes on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Hello, Chris.
Hey, it's been a busy morning indeed. Thanks for letting me push back a little bit.
Absolutely, no doubt. And but we were Brian Matthews was on previewing the game a little bit, and he was saying about the injury situation for Vanderbilt. How dire is it? I saw your tweet from the game on Saturday when things were going south against Ole Miss. But how is this? Is it really bad right now?
Well, it's bad, but let me be clear. The issues that are popping up, a lot of them are issues that we knew they were going to have anyway. Like, I just did not think they had SEC caliber corners.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of the hopes, honestly, were hinged on just the progression of players, right? Guys, juniors becoming seniors, seniors becoming fifth-year seniors, that kind of thing. Players just get better over time. Even if you're just okay to start out, you know, by the time you're 23 and 24 playing against 19-year-olds, there's an advantage there to be had. That didn't happen. They have gotten decimated in the defensive backfield. Again, their options weren't great, but it was the best they had. The quarterback situation, I'm not entirely sure how much of that is injury-related and how much of that is just other things. I think they wanted to give Walter Taylor a spin just for a spell to change things up. Frankly, I didn't think it was a good move at all. I thought they should have stuck with Ken Seals. But to be fair, Ken Seals was getting killed in that game because they can't protect him. Look, bottom line in this league is when you don't have SEC caliber corners and your line, which is just okay at best, does not progress for whatever reason, and I think that's been the case on the offensive and defensive lines, this is what you get.
And then with A.J. Swan, is it more performance-driven? It's not injury-related? I mean, because he showed a lot of potential a year ago and even earlier in this season.
You know, it's a depends on who you ask thing.
Right.
He's had an elbow issue for a while.
Gotcha.
I can't help but think that has affected him.
Mentally, yeah, I could see that. At the same
time, before that was an issue, you could see in fall camp that there were some ill-advised throws that maybe he got away with that he didn't last year. Look, here's the thing, and you know this happens in the NFL. In the NFL, they go through and they scout every throw you basically ever made at any level or close to it. I mean, that probably sounds ridiculous, but I'm not sure it is. I've been told that's the case. And they look for weaknesses. We're at the point in the SEC where you've got guys that have been coordinators at Power 5 levels, now analysts in this league, and these teams have almost unlimited resources to go back and dissect everything you do. There were some bad habits with A.J. Swan that were out there last year that I don't think got broken in August practices. I think that got scouted. I think that's shown up. So, yeah, I do think that the elbow has played a part in things. Has it been everything? I don't think it is. I think there was a between-the-ears component in terms of maturity, where to throw the ball, where not to throw the ball, that has popped up and bitten him at times. And so I think that's part of it too.
Chris, I thought it was interesting you on Twitter. We talked about it yesterday. And talking about Vanderbilt's talent issue.
Yeah, and it piggybacks off what he's saying about the corners.
In relation to the SEC, and if the SEC had a draft, the talent level that Vanderbilt is at right now.
Yeah, and if people didn't see it, my tweet was basically this. I've been trying to think of a way to put it into NFL-like terms. And it's like if you had a draft in this league, and you said, all right, SEC teams, let's start picking players. The other teams, and look, it wouldn't work exactly this way, right? I mean, Georgia and Alabama might have the first 10 picks between them, and then maybe Tennessee or Florida gets one or whatever. But from a Vanderbilt sake, they wouldn't be picking until about round 12 or 13. And it might not be that. It might be more like round 15. And then you kind of fill out your roster with guys, and other teams are getting picks in there too. But that's the point. I mean, I don't know how many top 250, 300 recruits that are on this roster, but it's not more than a couple. I mean, Alabama, Georgia got those guys playing scout team. And again, this is no news, but to put it into perspective, that's kind of where they are. Their best recruit was a kid named Kamorian Pimpton. They found him. LSU swiped him away at the last minute with money, which is how things work anymore. Vanderbilt was powerless to do anything about it. Kid is LSU's, I think, 5th tight end right now. He would have been Vandy's best recruit last year. Then you get the free agency portion where you get transfers. I said their budget was 5 to 10% of other schools. If you compare them to the top end, it's not even that. Mm-hmm. That would be overstating it. And it might even be overstating it compared to the middle of the pack. So that's kind of what they're up against. Look, I see some coaching decisions at times that have been questionable. I didn't like the way they managed the quarterback Saturday. I think they got some philosophical issues with their strength and conditioning that need to be addressed. But the bottom line is it's not like they're going to go out there and win 8 or 9 games with this roster. You're asking a coach to thread a needle where the size of the hole might be smaller than the thread you're putting through it, honestly. And I don't know how you can ask a coach to do that and win at any kind of level at Vandy.
Well, and it's like you said, they are finally addressing the facilities, but the game changed even before they started groundbreaking with NIL and the transfer portal and everything.
Yeah, it did, and even to that, Drew, the facilities are just going to be respectable compared to everybody else's. I mean, they're going to be nice, but the stadium's going to be 31,500 people. Kids now care more about that other stuff than they do facilities. I mean, they just are so slow to react in real time to anything and everything because they sit over there and they live in a bubble world. And I just don't know how that changes until you bring in somebody from the outside that knows how it's done at places that win, other than, and this is what they do every time, because I've talked to people who've been on the committee and in a room with decisions, they've got the way that, quote, we do things at Vanderbilt, and that's why they continue to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So Saturday, Auburn comes to town. Your thoughts just on, the game itself on Saturday?
Look, I said this about Auburn early in the season. I said I think they've got some limitations. It's the same thing at Florida, right?
Yeah.
The previous coach got fired because of recruiting. So you can't look at the next coach and say, "Hey, we're going to the playoffs this year because we're Auburn and whatever." No, you can't in one breath fire a coach for lack of talent, and in the next breath expect the next guy to pick up and get you where you think you need to be. And so it was always the needle that Auburn had to thread. But I also said this: Hugh Freeze got a track record in this league of coaching and doing some pretty good things, and we know what he did at Ole Miss, right? And so, but it takes time in a new system to get guys used to things and whatever. And look, they've got some limitations at the quarterback spot, although Mississippi State and its defense made Auburn look pretty good there Saturday. But nonetheless, we know of Auburn's problems in the passing game. But the thing is, players get used to new systems later in the season. I've said I want to play Auburn in the first half of the season and not the second half. You got 2 teams that came out of bye weeks last week, and they look markedly differently in how they played and the success they had. Maybe it was just Mississippi State's defense that made it happen in the passing game for Auburn, but the numbers were significantly better than they've been. It feels like you've got 2 teams that came off a bye week. One found a way to get better, and the other one just kind of stayed the same.
Yeah, it's tough. There's no doubt about it. And then quickly, your thoughts on the 2 big games of the week, Georgia, Missouri, and Alabama, LSU, before we wrap it up with you.
This feels like the spot where the last few years where you say, hey, this could be a challenge for Georgia, and that's the spot where Georgia always seems to get it together and play its best football. asked TCU about that last year.
Mm-hmm.
I would be surprised if Georgia, particularly in Athens, loses
me too.
this game. I think the other one's more interesting. 2 weeks ago, if you'd made me make a pick, I would have taken LSU. Now that I've had a little bit more time to think about it, Brian Kelly's a great coach, but Nick Saban's the best of all time. And we know the limitations, but they've been there all season. He's suddenly finding a way to make it work. You saw what they did to Ole Miss at home. They're playing better. It's not a vintage Alabama team, but there's still some talent there. I just think and I know they both had 2 weeks to think about it. Maybe I'm wrong because I see on paper I like LSU's offense a lot better than Alabama's. And I think in this day and age of college football, if you're limited on offense, your ceiling is a lot lower. But it just feels a little stupid picking against Nick Saban in this spot at home. And I just think if for no other reason, I'll go with the greatest coach in the history of college football in this one.
Well, Vanderbilt may not be providing much of a spark in the Music City, but Will Levis is. At least Will Levis is giving the Titans a spark.
Oh, my goodness. I was at that game Sunday. I used to have season tickets, and we had kids and all that, and that went out the window. But I got to go to my first game I went last year. And I tempered my expectations because he's a rookie quarterback. And their offensive line, which I just didn't think was going to matter because their line had been so bad.
Yeah,
guys, I was floored with what I was watching.
Yeah.
And if you saw the game, 4 touchdowns and no picks, and look, this kid had not thrown an NFL pass before that. That is impressive. And if you want to temper optimism a little bit, remember that Marcus Mariota did the same thing. But if you sat there and watched the game, and I saw every play of it, it wasn't just what he did; it was what he didn't do. He didn't make bad throws. He had one bad throw in that game. The linebacker could have picked, but it was one of those that would add their linebackers for a reason. It was one really bad throw. It was that one. He got away with it. He threw the ball away when he was under duress. He hit guys open downfield. He should have had another 40 yards on his passing total because he hit Chigakonkwo right in the hands with the pass right down the seam, and he just dropped it. So yeah, it was an unbelievably impressive debut for Will Levis, and pumped a little life back into a franchise that has lacked a lot recently.
Well, I got to congratulate Southeastern 14. They're part of the Believe Network now. Congratulations on that as you guys continue to grow. VandySports.com, part of the Rivals Network, and you can connect with him at Chris Lee 70 on the X now instead of Twitter. But we appreciate the time, Chris, so much. Thank you for hanging with us.
Yeah, thanks for accommodating a changing schedule this morning. It's a busy time for us.
No doubt.
Thanks, Chris.
Good thing. Thank you, Chris Lee there.
All right, let's get the break in. Talking Ball wraps it up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Looks like eastbound traffic's moving once again on 565. Had a wreck up near County Line that was slowing things down, but everything looks good now. Had one southbound on County Line at Old Highway 20. They're reported with injury, turned out to be a no injury. And Winchester east of Mooresville had an injury, still may be trying to wrap that one up. Someone dies from heart disease every 36 seconds. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue can help you keep your heart healthy. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
If you work in a dangerous or logistically intense industry, you know good training can be a challenge. There are training costs, safety concerns, and difficulty replicating real-world scenarios. There's a better way used right now in the Army and in all our armed services to better prepare our heroes, and it's available to you in your organizations. Higher Echelon's Game Development Team is revolutionizing learning in military training, dangerous industry, STEM, and sports performance domains with cutting-edge virtual training that immerses you in lifelike scenarios without the cost and safety concerns concerns for trainees. With Higher Echelon's game-based training, you'll experience realistic simulations, precision accuracy, and unparalleled safety. Higher Echelon founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and puts that experience to use. His team has been building cutting-edge virtual training environments for soldiers and clients for a decade. Higher Echelon, the name you can trust for advanced training solutions. Reach out at higherechelon.com to get your free consultation. Go higher and go Army.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
There's the headline.
We're done.
We're done. Just like Brian Ferentz.
Just like Brian. Hey, you do realize, though, why we kicked off the show saying happy birthday to Nick Saban?
Yeah, 72.
1 year ago today, Auburn fired Brian Harsin.
Yeah, it was a happy Halloween for Harsin.
Yeah.
He got
Well,
some,
happy Halloween for a lot of Auburn fans, too. They got a lot
got
they
some
got
tricks,
a little
not
treats.
a treat.
Yeah.
Well,
now
congratulations to everybody out there on Halloween. Have a happy Halloween.
Safe
Stay
Halloween.
warm.
Just remember,
be safe
a
out
lot of
there.
trick-or-treaters out there. Don't go flying
Yeah.
down those back roads.
Be careful out there.
Inspect the candy. Remember, did your parents always have to do that? Did they always have to look at the candy?
We always did that.